tonight's public hearing. Tonight's public hearing is a public hearing of the annual reports, the 2018-19 TAPER report, or Texas Academic Performance Report, 2018-19 district accreditation status, and the 2018-19 TAPER glossary. In addition, this is a regular meeting of the Board of Trustees. For the record, today is January the 13th, 2020. It's now 7 p.m. I call the meeting to order. We do have a quorum of the trustees present. Mr. Mullinex will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and the Texas Pledge, and Mr. Richter will lead us in the invocation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we come tonight praying for the safety and the well-being of all our men and women in the military. We also pray for the families as they wait for their loved ones to return home. Father, we thank you for our staff, for blessing them to take care, to teach, and to motivate our students, to help them become good, productive citizens of our community. Then, oh God, I ask your blessings upon this meeting this evening. May this blessing go, may this meeting go the way that you would have it to go. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Mullinex, Mr. Richter. The first item on our agenda tonight is public testimony.
First is Glenn Hayes.
We will go right here. Yeah, before you have your comments, let me read a little public disclaimer here. Public testimony pursuant to board policy BED, the board will allow every person who wishes to address the board on an agenda item to do so before the board's consideration of the item. The board shall not deliberate regarding any subject that is not included on the agenda posted with notice of this meeting. This is a time for the board to stop, look, and listen to public comments. Each speaker will be allowed 3 minutes to address the board. We ask that speakers refrain from comments about any district employee without proper due process. I will be the timekeeper and let you know when your 3 minutes are just about. You have the floor.
Okay, so according to that, I need to tell what I'm talking about first,
You can yeah, in generalities, sure.
like the AD's contract.
That was nice.
Yeah, I think y'all can discuss it. First of all, the AD that we have now, I've been under 9 ADs here, and one other one in a different school, that's 10. And the athletic director we have now is in the top 2 of all those, in my experience. In fact, Coach Grover, I'm sorry, I said an employee's name. The 2 best ADs I've worked for are both in this room, okay? He runs the program strong. He lets the coaches coach. He gives advice when needed, and he's always there for advice if you need some. It'd be a mistake, in my opinion, to consider anybody else in that position because of the job that he's done since he's been here. I don't know any other ADs that are always trying to learn about the game and about people and about kids. He's constantly learning, trying to learn more about what he's doing. He's a good example to the kids. He treats them like he would treat his own sons, and I think that's really, you can't ask any more than that. Your own sons, you don't let them get away with everything they want to get away with. If you do, I feel sorry for the kids that are subject to that. Kids will get away with whatever they can get away with until somebody stops them and teaches them how to do it right. We preach to the kids, do the right thing, do the best you can, treat others like you want to be treated, and do things right. And that's what he does as an example for them. And to go by an opinion of a parent or a grandparent or a person who thinks that their kid didn't get a fair shake, to go by an opinion like that and call it a meeting about it, I think that's wrong. I don't think that's the way you should do things. You should let the teachers teach, the coaches coach, to the best of their ability, the best of their knowledge. And if they have a problem with that, you need to go to them and talk to them about it, find out where they're coming from, follow the chain of command, and basically, you're turning your kid over to the coaches for them to do what they think is right for that team and that individual. And the coaches have to put the individual secondary to the team. You have to put the team first if you're going to be successful. The kids in Aransas Pass will give you everything they got if you motivate them.
I'm going to finish up just a few seconds.
The problem with having to motivate teammates is that if you have to motivate them, then you're probably working with the wrong people. They have to be self-motivated. And that makes the job a lot easier and a lot more effective. For example, basketball, I don't have to motivate the basketball team. They are motivated to win. Football is the same way, except for certain individuals.
Coach, your time has expired. Thank you.
Well, make the right decision.
Thank you.
Next is Gary Smith, and that's our last one.
Hi guys. I'm just kind of up here just to make some comments in relation to the last school board meeting that was on the 9th of December. I'm not coming quite from the angle that Coach Hayes is coming from, but I just would like to just for a minute, this is just for me personally. I wasn't asked to be up here or anything like this. But after I usually watch the videos on YouTube that you guys put on YouTube. And there was, he maybe alluded to some of the things. I'm just up here just to kind of not so much defend myself, but just to kind of let everyone know, I don't think people really understand the complexity of what it takes to be a coach. I really don't. I'm not here passing judgment on what was said in terms of the meeting prior, but more like coming from my angle of the hours that I spend and that I see my other coaches spending in their sports, the time that they give to the kids. Now we may not do everything right, we're human and we're gonna make mistakes like anyone, but I will say this, and I've been here for 24 years, I've always put the kids' interests ahead of myself. I've always put it where the kid needs it to be for that kid. But in respects of trying to coach a team, it's completely different. And we have to think of the team first. A day doesn't go by that we don't know what it is that we have to lay down on the line every day. And it's long hours, it's tenuous hours, it's very low paid hours. And we do the very best that we can with not only the information that we have to coach, but also with the type of athlete that we have. We make the most of it. Ingleside can have the ones that want to go to Ingleside. We beat Ingleside. We'll beat Rockport. They can go to Rockport. I want the ones that want to stay here that are true AP kids, that want to be coached, that want to learn, and that want to learn what it means to play within a team, within a team's chemistry. And I'm trying to do that to the very best of my ability. And if it's not up to what parents or what people are saying in the community, then I can walk. It's not a problem for me either. I can look at myself in the mirror and I do reflections every year. What am I doing wrong? What am I not doing right? This year I took girls basketball. What am I doing wrong? What am I doing right? And it's the same thing. The carryover to me is the same. I put as much due diligence into that as I do in the classroom. And that comes first for me. But I do that with the same respects of the coaching as well. Thank you.
On behalf of the board, I want to thank the two speakers. Thank you for your public comments. It is public testimony. We do allow that, like I said, according to House Bill, the House Board changed to Kira. We have a recent changes here.
Yeah.
Need 43, House Bill 3.
Three, I know.
House Bill 3.
We'll pick three, sounds good.
We're constantly going through legislative updates. So anyway, House Bill 3 did change our public testimony a little bit, but we appreciate you guys coming and offering your comments. Agenda item number 3 are the district recognitions. Tonight we have Board Appreciation Month and Panther Employees of the Month. Ms. Cook?
I'd like to read this on behalf of recognizing you as the Board of Trustees for Aransas Pass ISD. January 2020 proclaimed School Board Recognition Month. This is a great time for us to focus on the crucial role of our elected Board of Trustees that they play in our community and schools. APISD staff wants our school board members to know that we appreciate your dedication and hard work. These are extraordinary people who voluntarily tackle the enormous job of governing our school district. Your actions and decisions affect the present and future lives of all the children of Aransas Pass. We recognize you, our board members, for the community to our district, for the way you serve our community and our district. Even though we should show you appreciation year-round, we're taking advantage of this month to ensure that we give you a heartfelt thank you so that you know that each of you are very important to our district and to our community. And you will find a great expression of gratitude in the gifts that have come from the different campuses. Some of the art classes have made things. Some of the classes made cookies for you. There's just all kinds of great goodies and cards. You'll see some of the things around on the walls that our students have made. We had one, unfortunately, that was very glittery and was stuck together, so we wanted you to know there is another one that we could not pull apart. If you want to take a peek, it's on the back. Students did a really good job with the glue. But we hope that you know, as we stop each year in January to show our appreciation for the time you put into what you're doing, your thoughtfulness, and we know that in the end, every decision you make, you're always considering these students, the students that we serve each and every day. So we thank you. Let's give them a round of applause.
Thank you, Ms. Cook. And I'd like to add to that, we as a board, we all come from different walks of life. But one thing I've known every one of these trustees up here all my life is that our purpose and our passions work kids. We volunteer, but we're elected. We don't get paid. We don't have a huge salary to sit up here. We do it because we love kids and we love education. And at some point, I think education has touched every one of our lives, and we want to get back. So that's what we try to do for our community. We have different perspectives. We don't always agree. Sometimes we disagree, but we do so respectfully, and we reach a consensus, and we move forward. We don't try to have agendas. We try to move forward for the best interest of our kids. So I want to tell the trustees, thank you for the time that they put in, for the hard work, and for being great team members. Thank you, guys. The next item on the agenda is the Panther Employees of the Month. Mr. Stansberry and Ms. Cook will recognize them, and Ms. Adele will read their profiles.
As I call the student's name, can they come up and then stay up until all four are presented to the front so we can take pictures?
And also the parents, if you'd like to come up right here to the very end, you're more than welcome to come up so you can get a picture.
The first Panther of the Month for December 2019, H.T. Falk Elementary School has elected Thesis Meza as their December Panther of the Month. Summer Cheney and Joe Meza. Fessus is a pre-kindergartner at H.T. Falk Elementary. In his spare time, Fessus enjoys playing on his tablet and with his siblings Jude, Oliver, Charlie, Bella, and Aubrey. He has a dog named Puppy, and his favorite color is red. He loves school because he gets toys and then he gets to play with them. Fessus' goal is to be a police officer when he grows up. He was selected Panther of the Month because of his dedicated student. He follows school rules and makes good choices. Fessus is always on task and kind to others. H.T. Falk Elementary is proud to have Fessus Meza as their Panther of the Month. December 2019 Panther of the Month for Charlie Marshall Elementary School has elected Carlos Flores. Carlos is a third grader at and Vincent Arizmendi. He has one younger sister and one younger brother. His family currently has 2 English bulldogs named Shelby and Boss. His favorite hobbies are playing Xbox and playing outside. Carlos's favorite colors are red and black, and his favorite subject in school is math. He likes school because he can learn and be with his friends. Carlos hopes to attend college and become a coach. Please join us in congratulating Carlos Flores as our December Panther of the Month. He is one of the many bright stars at CMECS. Panther of the Month for AC Middle School has selected Jasmine Garza as their December Panther of the Month. Jasmine is an 8th grade student and the daughter of Maria and Rogelio. She has one sister, Leslie, and one little brother, Rogelio. When asked about her favorite subject in school, she said it's math because it comes easy to her. Jasmine plays basketball for AC Blunt and is on the A team. She practices every day and hopes to continue to play in high school. When not playing and practicing basketball, she enjoys watching TV with her family and sleeping. Jasmine's dream is to become a lawyer because she wants to help people and make a difference in the world. Her plan is to go to Texas A&M University in College Station to study. Go Aggies. AC Blunt Middle School is proud to have Jasmine represent our campus as Panther of the Month. Not only is she a good student and a good athlete, but she is caring and helpful to her peers. Congratulations to Jasmine Garza, AC Blunt's awesome Panther of the Month. Panther of the Month for Aransas Pass High School has elected Andy Kendall for their December Panther of the Month. Andy is the daughter of Crystal and Bradley Kendall. Andy is a freshman in Aransas Pass High School. One of the things that Andy enjoys doing in her spare time is making shirts with her mom. Andy loves to take care of her bulldog, Chunk, and her black cat named Binks. Andy's favorite subject is English, and her favorite thing about school is that she's able to take college courses while in high school. After graduating from APHS, Andy plans on going to college and becoming a paramedic. Andy was selected as the Panther of the Month because she is a dedicated student. She is always polite and willing to help in any situation. Aransas Pass High School is proud to have Andy Kendall as their Panther of the Month. Now we're going with the Teachers of the Month. The Employee of the Month for is a kindergarten teacher, Naomi Novi at HT Falk Elementary. This is her 3rd year with Aransas Pass, but her 13th year as an educator. Naomi is a beautiful wife of Russo and an amazing mom to both her daughter Bella and her fur babies Nova and Bentley. In her spare time, she enjoys crafting and relaxing in her hammock. Miss Novi enjoys her job as a keeper teacher and being able to impact students' lives. She loves her students, their smiles, and their endless hugs. She also loves her work family and feels they make it enjoyable to come to work every day. Naomi Novi was nominated by her peers. She is also festive when working morning car duty. She has even dressed as a dinosaur suit to greet the students. She is willing to she is willing to help others and continue learning herself. Naomi is positive, encouraging to staff and students, resourceful, and willing to collaborate with colleagues. HT Falk Elementary is proud to have Naomi Novi as their Employee of the Month. Employee of the Month for Charlie Marshall Elementary School had the privilege and challenge of adding the entire 3rd grade level team to their family this school year. The challenge was enticing this team to step away from their comfort zone, friends, and beautiful new school building. The privilege was seeing the CMEC's family grow by adding 6 more students to the campus along with the 3rd grade students that these teachers would be teaching. I would be lying if, and this is from Mr. Jeremy Sager, I would be lying if I said I didn't have some nervous moments in regards to the transition, but I will say that our Employee of the Month, Ms. Clarissa Quintanilla, helped her team and the CMES family make this happen with ease. Even before Ms. Quintanilla had officially joined the team, she worked to share information, communicate requests, and ease any predicament that her team may have been having prior to move. At the end of 2018-19 school year, Clarissa worked to inquire about room assignments, ensure the furniture was delivered, and the extra resources was ordered as 2 team members were changing the content they had been teaching. Once the year arrived, it was clear to all that her leadership abilities were in place, and she continued to check on her team to make sure that they had all what they needed prior to students arriving on the first day of school. It had been a pleasure to have the entire team join our family and assimilate to the change in large part. I want to give credit to Ms. Quintanilla for making this happen, along with being a motherly figure to her 43rd graders. She is also a proud mother to her own 3 children, Karina, Fernando, and Kata, who is all proud Panthers themselves. APISD and the city of Aransas Pass are both lucky to have the Quintanilla family as part of their extended family. And Mr. Quintanilla is our public works director, who is also always willing to lead a helping hand for children wherever needed. Thank you, Ms. Quintanilla, for your dedication and devotion to our profession. It does not go unnoticed. AC Blunt has chosen Susan Drungle as December Employee of the Month. Susan has been an educator for 32 years, and 27 of those years is in Aransas Pass. She is married to Philip, and they have 3 beautiful daughters that are all graduates of Aransas Pass High School. Ms. Drungle has taught elementary reading, science, social studies, Texas history, and U.S. history. She is currently teaching home economics to 7th and 8th graders, which have become her passion. She loves to cook, craft, and sew with her students and see their eyes light up with the new skills they learn. Her students are busy preparing to participate in the county A&H show next week. I think that's supposed to be 4-H show. Ms. Drungle is proud to call APISD her home and is thrilled with the direction our district is moving our students and educators. The staff and faculty chose Susan Drungle as Employee of the Month because she is always willing to help and goes out of her way to do extra things for the students and the staff. We are proud to have Susan Drungle represent AC Blunt as Employee of the Month. Marshall Conway was selected as her fellow teachers as Employee of the Month for APHS because of the hard work and dedication she exhibits for students. Here's a little about Ms. Conway in her own words. This was my 34th year in education and 5th in Aransas Pass. The years have been some of the best years of education. Teachers are valued here and our voices are heard. This does not happen in many other districts. Prior to coming to AP, I had taught for 24 years in Rockport. It is there I met the 2 people responsible for bringing me here. She taught for the Scotsman as a junior in U.S. history, and I taught next door to Mr. Bennett. Both of these men love Aransas Pass, and I knew that I could trust what they were telling me about the district. My husband of 37 years is a coach in Ingleside, and as is my oldest son. My youngest son is a coach in Grapevine ISD. Both my daughter-in-laws are teachers as well. Education is a big deal in our family. I have 3 grandchildren that are a big part of my life outside of the classroom. The students here in Aransas Pass are wonderful. The staff and administration at APHS and throughout the district love what they do and care about the children and community of Aransas Pass. Thank you for allowing me to continue my passion for teaching and making a difference. Aransas Pass High School is proud to have a great employee like Marcel Conway.
continue on with our meeting, I'm going to take a brief moment to pause. I know it's a school night. The parents need to get home, kids have homework or dinner or anything, or you're more than welcome to stay for the next 2 hours just to do your agenda. I'll take a brief pause here. Agenda item number 4 is a presentation of financial audit report for the year ending August 31st, 2019. I believe we have Michael Kiesnick with, is it LeBron or LeBron? Lovern, yes. And Kiesnick LLP. Welcome to Randus.
Thank you.
And you have the floor, sir.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm pleased to present y'all a defined financial audit. We've issued a modified opinion on your report, which is the best opinion you can receive. If you would, if you've got your hard copy of the audit in front of you, turn to page 2. I intend to be brief, but if anybody has any questions, please don't hesitate to stop me and discuss what you've got. The bottom of page 2 are opinions. In our opinion, the financial statements referred to above in all material respects, the respective financial position, and governmental activities, each major fund, and the remaining fund information of grants passed ISD as of August 31, 2019. In respect to changes in financial position, and where applicable, cash flows thereof in the year that ended in accordance with accounting principles generally accepted in the United States of America. So this is our opinion, it's unmodified. Now if you would turn to page 12. Every school district in Texas is required to present 2 types of financial statements. The first is a government-wide presentation, which is similar to a private sector presentation. The second will be your fund financials, which we'll go over those later on here. Those focus more on a current inflows and outflows. So first I'll go with Exhibit A1, page 12, your statement net position. Your total assets was $54 million at the end of the year. You had deferred outflows of resources of $3,455,000. Liabilities of $35.8 million. Deferred inflows of resources, $2.7 million, leaving a total net position of $18.9 million. Exhibit B1, page 13, your statement of activities or income statements. Total expenses for the district was $21.7 million. Those were offset by 2 types of program revenues, the first being charges for services of $194,000. Operating grants and contributions of $5,567,000. Total general revenues down towards the bottom there, $17.3 million. Change in net position was $1.3 million. You began at 17.6, ended up at 18.9. Exhibit C1, page 14, begins your fund financial statements. Again, this focuses more on your current resources, inflows and outflows. I'll focus only on the general fund for you. Your total assets at the end of the year was $10,250,000. Total liabilities was $3,061,000. Deferred inflows of resources, $891,000. Your total fund balance in the general fund was $6,298,236. Page 16, Exhibit C2. Your statement of revenues, expenditures, changes, fund balances. Again, just for your general fund here. Total revenues is $16,240,000. Expenditures is $15,125,000. That left you with an excess of revenues over expenditures of $1,115,000. After transfers, ins and outs, you had a draw of fund balance of $375,000. Began the year at $6.6 million, ended up at $6,298,236 in your fund balance for your general fund. So you have any questions?
Have any questions? Anybody else? I would just like to make a comment for the record. Since Hurricane Harvey in 2017-18, it seems we continue to revert back to saying the Hurricane Harvey order. But I say that because I'm very proud of the board and the administration. In 2017, as we all know, the hurricane devastated our community. Fortunately, because of good planning with our financial office and our previous suits, we had a healthy fund balance, one that was able to carry us through those times. The hurricane dropped our enrollment. We took a big hit there. Through lobbying efforts of administration and superintendents across the state was able to come in and provide the assistance that we needed. So not only did we have an unexpected financial loss with the hurricane, we had drop of enrollment. And on top of that, we had major bond construction going on. And through all those things, we've been able to stay healthy. When we look at the reports that we have, we're probably a little bit stronger than we were before the hurricane. We still have some additional projects that we want to complete, but I think the state of our district is a lot better than it was before the hurricane, and it wasn't because we weren't working hard, it's because everybody rolled up their sleeves and did a lot of hard work, especially with administration. So I want to congratulate you guys and thank you for the job that you guys continue to do. Thank you for the report that you give us.
Thank you. Before I leave, I'd like to thank Ms. Stansberry and her staff for being well prepared for us and seeing us all the way through and getting you the fine audit you have. So thank you.
Thank you for being with us. Item number 5 is a public hearing on the annual reports, Texas Academic Performance Report, TAPER Report, District Accreditation Status, and the TAPER Glossary. Ms. Cook?
Ms. Dominguez has prepared a presentation for us. Just as a reminder, and she'll go through this too, I'm sure, the TAPER report is a reflection of our scores from last year. As you remember, each year you see these in multiple formats, and so this is not new information, it's just in a lot more detail. So instead of rehashing some of the same numbers you've already seen, what we want to do is show and remind you of those areas that we felt we did well in, then focus on those areas we did not fare so well, and what we've been doing all this first semester to continue to grow and meet the challenges and ensure that our students receive the best they can every day in the classroom. Our teachers doing an amazing job. We've just very excited about where we're moving, and it's all because the staff wants to ensure that every day they give their very best. So I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Dominguez, and she'll share out with us.
Thank you. Like Ms. Cook said, I'm going to try to just hit the highlights of this report for you. But if you have any questions, please ask. And also when I'm finished with the report, if there's questions that you think of later, feel free to call me or email me about anything that you see that you might want to know more about. As far as the accreditation status report, basically that's just on the state website, and we are accredited. So you can go look on the state website under accreditation, and you will see that we are accredited, which is a good thing. Other districts, you can be on probation, you can be accredited warned or revoked or even pending, but we are accredited, so that's great. Now to our TAPER report, notice that your TAPER report, okay, it's divided into, let me see, get this to go. Do I have it on? Yes, I have it on. Need to press the button for me? Thank you. The battery may have run out. Okay, there we go. It is divided into 10 different sections, the first being the cover page that we went over. On the cover page, you will also have the rating, and our rating is a B. You will have any special education determination, and we meet requirements with special education, so we did really well this year. And on your campus reports, you will also have distinctions, which the high school had 2, and one was in growth, top 25%, and the other was in closing the gaps, top 25%. Page 3 through 7 is looking at your STAR performance. Page 8 is your district and campus progress. Then you have your prior year and student success initiative, students who failed the prior year, and then how they've grown the next year. Star Performance and Progress, they separate out your bilingual ESL students. They look at star participation. Did all of our students participate? Attendance, graduation, and dropout rates are included, as well as your career, college, and military readiness indicators. They look at some other post-secondary things, and then you also have demographic data on your staff and your students. So, as we go into the report, I would like to look at the star performance pieces first and progress pieces first. We have a lot of data in there, so I'm just going to highlight what I found, what I felt was significant. From 2018 to 19, at the approaches, meets, and masters level, we had increases in all subject areas. In the all subject area category, we did in ELA and reading and math and social studies overall. We had increases in science in the approaches and needs category. So in almost every category, we had increases across the board. We did have some decreases in writing. We had significant gains, which is 10 percentage points or higher is what I feel like is a very significant gain in the following areas. Grade 3 reading and math at the master's and meets level. We had grade 5 reading at the approaches level and math at the meets level. Grade 8 reading at the meets level and science at the approaches level. English 1 EOC at the meets level and US history at the master's level. So all of those areas increased 10% or more. Some are more than that. In progress, we were above or equal to state in the following areas. So if you single them out, you'll see 8th grade reading and math, English 2, and Algebra 1 as being equal to or above state. But at the bottom, you're going to see all of them average out. And when they average out, and progress is only measured in reading and math, by the way, so that's all they look at. ELA in reading and math and all grades, both subjects were all above state. So I felt like that was a very good signal as to what we're doing with our students in our district, is showing we're all growing. We're having increases in almost every area. We have some other reports that are included in the TAPER report that deal with things besides STAR. So attendance, graduation, and dropout rates. Attendance, I am going to say the Hurricane Harvey word here because that was 17-18. All of these are based on 17-18 data. So this is the hay is in the barn category that we talked about last year, if you remember that. So I will say that I'm sure Hurricane Harvey played a role in the attendance rate there going down. But our graduation and dropout rates are still better than state. So we're doing really well with our graduation rates and supporting our kids and getting them graduated. In the college, career, and military readiness, our college ready graduates, that's going to be a target area for us. We did see some gains. So we saw some gains in the TSI, A, and SAT. And we had some other areas that were lower than state that we're working on. Our career military readiness is a strength area for us. So our CTE program is alive and well. And most of our areas in that category are higher than state. So we're doing well with that. Also included in your report are other post-secondary readiness or other post-secondary indicators, which are more of a breakdown of some of those same things that are in that college, career, and military readiness. Besides that, in the TABOR report, you have demographic information, which I'm not really going to highlight the demographic information of the student and staff. I think you've had time to study that. If you have questions, you can definitely contact me about that. But I did want to talk more about the responses that we are having to this data, because we've been looking at this data since when it initially comes out. So when each test rolls out, we're looking at it, we're evaluating what we're doing. When we get our full report of all the STAR scores in the summer, we're looking at that, and then we've got our TABOR report, we're definitely looking at that. So we've been looking at all of this data for quite a while already. So our response to this is, one thing that we're doing is that we decided as an administrative team that we needed a district-wide learning framework so that we could all speak the same academic language when we're talking to each other about instruction. And we felt like, our admin team felt like this would help our district move forward. So we began working on that process, and we developed the APISD Panther Pathway. You remember, we began in August with our summits. We had our 3 design days, which some of you were a part of. We just completed our teacher training, and then we will have our first cohort of 20 teachers ready to go. We already have a list of names ready to go to receive the coaching in this Panther Pathway. So we're really excited about that. We feel like that's going to make a big difference in our district. We've also, with the Panther Pathway, we received the Blended Learning Grant, which works on a piece of the Panther Pathway, which is personalized learning and infusing technology with that into instruction. So we're going to be diving into the blended learning piece of the Panther Pathway as we roll along this year and the next 2 years. So it's a 3-year process. In high school, I know there's a focus on college readiness. We've made some changes to scheduling, things that we do with the TSI and SAT, and then also dual credit. So we've made adjustments in different areas along these lines, so just know that we are working on that. We've also created additional learning opportunities for students, such as at the junior high, they have now an additional academic opportunity where they're working to differentiate for different groups of students and give them targeted instruction on exactly what they need. It's during the school day, and every 3 weeks, they're revising what the students are getting and which groups that they're in. So they're constantly looking at that, and we are also, still providing our tutorials and our remedial classes. Another thing that we're doing is continuing to do the things that we know are working, which is our professional learning communities. We're working on improving our processes with those, though, so we're getting better at running those. We are still continuing our district-wide assessment cycle and our benchmark processes, and so we're working on improving all of those areas that we are currently doing. So Ms. Cook has done a great job in meeting with our leadership team weekly, and weekly we discuss these things and we make adjustments where we need to, and we try to move forward. And that is the fast and furious TAPER report. You do have the TAPER glossary as well, which will give you definitions for what you are finding in the report. Do you have any questions for me?
This was quite a large bit of information
It
to
is.
look over, and I did take the time to look over everything. I appreciate the fact that you're saying that we are focusing, or at least targeting, the college readiness. I do find that a deficit, and those 3 things you mentioned, the TSI, SAT, and the dual credit, is a kudos. We need to really keep pushing those kids to come out with some college credit at a cheaper rate. It's priceless to them, so I appreciate that. But I do have a question on, how do we move the bar besides just the percentage moving out of the meets, or moves to approach to meets? Does that make the B become an A, or is it you have to have X amount in the meets regardless?
If you get somebody in masters, you're basically getting triple points, okay? Because they're counted in the meets category, they're counted in the masters meets, they're counted in the approaches meets category and in the masters category. If you get somebody in meets, they're counting twice because they're counting them approaches and in the meets category. So as you move students up the levels, it does help your accountability, for sure.
That makes sense. I wasn't sure how we do that, besides just percentage-wise. So the more we can move from meets to masters, it's even better,
Exactly.
obviously. Okay, thank you.
Shelley, I don't have a question, it's just an observation. You didn't dive into our student demographics, but on
No, I didn't.
on page 21, and I think it's real important here because as we move forward with the pathways and everything we're doing, I think it's very important that the community understands some of the challenges that we have ahead of us. When we look at our breakdown on page 21 in our ethnic distribution, out of 1,552 students, 33 are African American, or 2.1%. On the Hispanic, we have 978 students, or 63% of our student population. The white category shows 489 students, or 31.5. The rest subcategories are either 1 or 2 percenters. That's the face of our district. That's who's in our hallways every day. And what the really telling point for me is when you look at economically disadvantaged, you're looking at 79.3% of our students come
Yes,
from
sir.
a socially economic disadvantage. So 7 out of 10 kids that walk in a classroom are bringing that background with them. And I think, to Adele's point, in order for us to move the needle forward, we have to recognize that. We have to be able to reach them. I know some of the coaches talked about we have to work with what we have. I mean, we don't know the home life that they're coming from, or, you know, whether they're struggling to have a meal. Maybe the only meal they're getting is at school. You know, we have to address all their needs that they have. English as second language, ELL, English learners, 144. And I guess just to the bottom line is that's who our district is, and that's who we're trying to reach. So we have to have all those programs in place. I just wanted to take a few minutes. I know we have a lot of staffing here to highlight those numbers of what we have in the business. Does anybody else have?
I just make one comment. You know, I really, you know, want to pass my appreciation to the staff and the teachers, because if I remember, our grade, you know, the C last was 78. We went from 78 to 84 in 1 year, and there's a lot of significant increases in a lot of those areas. But we've also, I know you've already spent time and effort identifying those areas that we still need improvement in. So our objective is to get to that A, you know, which everybody would like to get to. We're moving in that direction. So I just want to, you know, pass a board's appreciation to the staff and the teachers, because they're the ones that make it happen. But you know, your efforts are appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next item on the agenda is agenda item number 6, the superintendent reports. We have a construction update on the elementary and the gymnasium, report on the student advisory council meeting that was held on January the 9th, enrollment report, calendar of upcoming events, and the new hire for the pre-K teaching. I guess we'll start out with the construction. If you'll come on up and take the floor. Welcome, Dr. Randis.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here, Board President, Board, and Superintendent, Ms. Cook. Hopefully everybody got a copy of this. Kind of went out late, but it's the kind of the last part of the project, the punch list, and some of the items that are still remaining to be completed. Start with the elementary first. All the landscaping irrigation has been installed, including the rock garden that's out front of the cafeteria. So that's been done. The last piece that contractor needs to do is remove the temporary irrigation, which, meeting last week with the contractor, they're supposed to be starting to disassemble that and removing that from the site. Interior punch list, one of the only items left is reordering the nurses' curtains to get the proper length and division, and so the contractor's working on that. I think most all the parts and pieces came in, so Clay with crew will be installing those hopefully this week. Some of the bigger items that were completed, the dumpster, CMU walls have been painted. The metal ballers that go basically in that contained area will be installed this week, so the walls don't get damaged. So that should be complete 100% this week. Kruger has a few minor things on the exterior, some sealing, caulking, and a few things that I'd like for them to do, and we'll make sure they get done. And like I said, once the irrigation is removed, they're going to remove all the debris in the playground area and also verify that the drainage swale is kind of cleared out and correct. And then the only final thing is the sanitary drain lines. There's a few pipes that are sticking out. They need to be cut and detailed correctly, so those will be done as well. The new gym complex, I talked to Fidel today, the project manager. They had a drain line that was drained very slowly. They had the utility contractor out there. They had got some sand in kind of towards the end of that line, so they're hydrojetting that out, so hopefully that'll be cleared up this week as well. And then the only other thing is the GAF, which is the manufacturer of the roof, and make sure all the details are correct before they finalize all their closeout on the roof. So basically that's it. That's my report. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer any.
Todd, on the east side of the building, I know we've done all the striping around the perimeter, but on the east side part, that was the existing parking lot that we had.
Yes,
Is that going to be swept and is that going to be restriped?
it's not scheduled to be restriped. The existing paving along the street,
Right.
no, sir, not
So that
restriped.
wasn't included?
No, sir.
Are we doing something, a permanent fix besides blowing out the sand on that slow draining?
Well, it's gotta be, it got contaminated, I guess, during construction, so that's gotta be all the way cleared out before it drains properly. So they've run a camera, they found what the problem is, and they're,
Are
it's
we
their.
gonna find something to prevent it from reoccurring?
Well, it happened during construction, while they were under construction, so something was exposed before it got capped. So I guess sand got in it, somebody broke a pipe, but it'll never happen again once they remove the sand.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Anybody else have any other questions? Todd, thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you for having me.
The next report is the report of the Student Advisory Council.
You have in your packet the minutes from the meeting. We went back over what they had talked about at the previous meeting, which how to improve communication, as we shared at the December board meeting. It already moved forward. We were happy to share with them that one of their ideas to have a Twitter account. We actually made that go live thanks to Blaze and Jason working diligently on Monday. So we do have Twitter now for Aransas Pass ISD. So you know how to do all that. Join us or whatever you do. Follow us. Gotta learn. I think it is have Blaze. And I do have a Twitter account though. Yes, I do have one. Just don't know what I'm doing with it yet. But we want to find as many ways, and we really appreciate speaking to the students because they don't really use Facebook any longer, the younger students and probably younger parents. So we've got to find every way we can to get the word out about communication, to communicate what we're doing. And what we talked about this week was ideas for courses and extracurricular offerings. So I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Molinek so he can share his thoughts on the great things the students shared.
Our students, again, they come up with a whole laundry list of things they'd like to see in the schools, from wrestling, soccer, and a bunch of things as far as the athletic events. They also come up with other clubs like a Lego club, computer clubs, things like that, video club, and that they talked a bit about the robotics club and how they like that. They had a whole list of things, again, but they also understand the fact that things are driven by the budget and also the number of kids that participate, and also have a sponsor for it. So we discussed all those things that get considered into that. So again, and then we told them to bring in the administrators. We'll get a copy of this list of things that they would like to incorporate on the campuses. And they need to schedule an appointment with administrators to talk to them about it. And then the administrators will decide basically what things they can kind of incorporate in their campuses if they think is worth pursuing. So, and then I think the last thing on our agenda was looking for next meeting, and that was they wanted to improve the student attendance. So they're going to come up with some ideas of what we can do to improve our student attendance every day. There was, one thing that you brought up, which is the last thing on there, is about having, a bus to run for after-school activities, tutorials, because some of the kids may not be able to participate in some of that stuff simply due to the fact they don't have a ride home. And so it may increase the participation in them being able to do other events, those extracurricular activities, if there's, some type of transportation provided for them after those events are over. But again, I'm still, every time I meet with them, I'm impressed. So they come up with some good ideas, and they understand the whole rationale behind everything. That they know that we can't do everything, but we do as much as we can. But, it's no good meeting. So.
new information. Next report is the enrollment report. Ms. Cook.
The enrollment report that you have is based off of the data from 12/19/19. Our enrollment was at 1620 with a 95.03% attendance rate. Our goal is 95%, so we're holding steady even with the illnesses that have been occurring. I know everyone's been working diligently to, I heard some of the principals and teachers talking about today trying to clean and do as much as they can because there are some viruses and different things going around. So we are continuing to push out all the great things we're doing here and encouraging people to come to Aransas Pass. So we're still hoping we make it to our 1650 goal of enrollment before the year's out. So I believe, let's go recruit. The next was your calendar of events, and we put in there as much as possible, but please go to our website, mainly especially for all the athletic events that we're hitting spring now. And so there are lots of things going on, so it would be impossible to put everything on one little calendar. So please make sure you're checking out our website. We welcome you as board members to come attend as many things as you can. We realize you can't get everything, but I know the staff appreciates seeing you there, and especially our students. They always enjoy knowing we support them. One thing that was not in your packet, we did put at your place was the grassroots meeting that is Thursday, January 23rd. There's some information about this TASB governmental relations meeting. So if you're interested in attending this, if you could please either text or email Blaze and let her know, and we will get you registered, and then we'll see who all's going, see if anyone wants to ride together. This is in Corpus at Region 2. So it's close. It's a great opportunity to hear. You can see some of the things they're going to be talking about. So I'm going to try to attend this, and so I want to make sure you are aware of it. This will help you get some hours also. Oh, and then the final piece was you had given me the authority to, for our pre-K position that we had open, we didn't have a lot of applicants, and we were trying to find that perfect fit, giving us an opportunity to wait and look until we found who we felt would fit into that position. During the school year, it's always difficult trying to fill that because, teachers already have contracts, and finding someone that can come in. We had a new graduate that was actually here doing her student teaching. She is Ms. Ashley Norris, and she is a great find. We have found truly someone, you come across those teachers that were just born to teach. She is definitely one of them. We're excited to have her on board. She's already been hard at it and doing a fantastic job. Not only is she doing great in her classroom, but she is bringing great new information to us about how to make connections to the college, to the university, for different avenues and ideas of training for our teachers, opportunities for more student teachers to come to our district. So we really appreciate, not only is she doing a great job with our kiddos, but she cares so much about our district. She's bringing ideas to help us become even better. All I have.
Agenda item number 7 are the financial reports, the accounts payable, budget status and investment report, tax collection report, and the bond finance update. Those reports were in your board package over the weekend. Does anybody have any questions on accounts payable, budget status and investment, tax collection report, and the bond finance update? Did you want to speak to that, Cheryl, or were you just going to leave it as a report?
One thing I did want to point out, on the very last page of where there's the cash balance, is I'm matching the general ledger balance to what's in the bank, so I don't know that the money is in the bank if it's not been spent. I am working on giving you an itemized report on all the outstanding payments that we still need to make, so we can have a final, or close to final balance of what our bond funds are going to be once all the projects are done and everything's been paid. So
but these are not, those aren't projected in this?
That, no,
That's-
that is not in,
Line items?
So on the general ledger, if you don't mind, on the reconciliation report, we're showing an available funds of $2.6 million. Out of that 2.6, there's still some invoices that we haven't paid to Kruger and to Marshall Construction, and then we also have the $400,000 for the concession stand project. So there's still some additional expenditures that have to come off this 2.6.
in the front of the report, in the meat of the report, the page that's directly behind the cover page, I've got total OLON projects, so you have an idea of how much, the balance due to Kruger is the $694,000. We still owe $12,005 on the gym, and those three are on the actual original bond projects. And the second page on other projects, all of that second page is what is going to, what has been spent out of the $2 million that was being provided for all other projects. And I also want to remind you that I applied for 2 grants that we did receive, and those are being moved in.
To
It was
the 2 million?
189.
Are final, they're being put
It's
into the 2
in that
million?
bank balance.
It's already there.
been transferred. It's
Okay.
just that I'm not showing it in detail where it is on the report.
We're moving them on a budget amendment because they're not in the right general code. function
Yeah,
code.
that was one of them, yes. And they're, the NEPA grant, we are getting that. We still don't know how that's gonna play out to how to transfer the money back to the bond. So that 2.6 million, I know for a fact we have about $1.3 million worth of checks that we need to write. But when we still continue to move the NEPA grant in and account for that, we should be sitting a little over the $1.2 million. We should at least wind up with
With
that.
pretty much everything checked off except the concession stand at that point.
Mhm.
Correct. And
Right.
really, maybe a simplistic way of saying it, really and truly, the $2 million from the bond would be expended had we not been reimbursed through some of the grants from the hurricane.
Right.
Otherwise, we wouldn't have that money
We
sitting.
wouldn't have it at all.
So that was kind of a windfall that I talked about earlier, that we were able to capitalize with all the funding that happened. The big question for staff is the last project, which is going to be the concession stand. The bond allocated $400,000. Construction costs have increased since Hurricane Harvey. So when we did our preliminary due diligence and we went out, the construction cost was way above that. So with these additional funds, we're trying to determine exactly how encompassing that project's going to be and where exactly we want all of the hard facilities to be. So we're going to have that in a meeting February 5th, in a vision meeting that we're going to have and determine what vision we're going to have for the concession stand, the last phase of that construction. So we're getting closer, plus we have the FEMA fee still coming, so we're still trying to reconcile all that, but we're getting closer.
So we should have a good idea of how much funds we have available for the concession stand.
Yes. She's
By
on
the
that.
time you have your meeting, it
Yeah.
should be.
And then all the bills, everything else should be paid off, so what we have to spend, so.
Because we want you to go into the workshop knowing the amount that you have to work with. We'll also have recommendations from the staff as to some ideas based off of all the history of looking at the concession stand restrooms. So we're going to get feedback from our staff on that. So when you go into that, then you'll have some good information to use so that we can make some decisions and move forward and hopefully get that rolling and our next season, have it out there.
Any other questions? Agenda item number 8 is the consent agenda. You have the minutes from the December 9, 2019 regular board meeting and the January 7th special board meeting and workshop. Anybody have any questions or corrections?
I have a couple of corrections.
Okay.
On page 314, where it's got, at this time for public testimony, it had me opening the meeting and it should have been President Victor Galvan.
Okay. You get that one, Liz? Okay. So,
And then on page 316, there was something there where a motion from district interface was made, but it only has, it was made, but it wasn't seconded. So we need to find out who, put in there who seconded that motion for district innovation. Other than that, that's the only two things I've seen in.
On page 316,
Yes.
who made the motion?
It just said Vice President John Wax moved to adopt a resolution indicating the process of Ranch Pass ID become a district of innovation as defined by the legislator, but there's nobody to second it.
Will you let the minutes reflect that Ms. Diaz said it? Okay.
Those are two corrections I saw.
Do I have a motion to approve the minutes as corrected?
So made.
Motion by Mr. Mock, a second. Mr. Richter, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item number 9 is to consider and approve the financial audit report for the year ending August 31st, 2019. We have a presentation by Mr. Keechnick. Does anybody have any comments or questions? If there are no questions, I make a motion to approve the financial audit report as submitted by administration.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Diostis, a second by Mr. Molinak. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is to consider and approve the budget amendments. Ms. Cook?
Ms. Stansberry, would you like to share with them?
The First Amendment is one of the grants that I mentioned earlier. They actually sent it through direct deposit, and it was deposited into our general fund instead of going into the bond fund. So we have to transfer it out, and that requires a budget amendment. The second amendment is we're just amending the budget for Charlie Marshall. They applied for a grant from the Coastal Bend Foundation to be used for field trips for the campus. And the Coastal Bend Foundation awarded them the $2,800, and we're amending their budget so they can go on with it.
Anybody have any questions? Do I have a motion to approve the budget amendments? A motion by Ms. Diostis, a second by Mr. Molinak. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next agenda item is number 10, discussion. It's time to discuss our options to fill the board vacancy, place 4, vacated by Ms. Johnson. The options that we have are to nominate from the Board of Trustees ourselves, or to open up and ask for an application process from the community, or to do both. I'll open the floor to discussion.
How long is that seat?
Well, you guys were just elected in
3.5
May,
years.
so it'll be 3.5 years. So what they would do is they would sit to the next election, and then they would have to file for that seat. And if they were elected that seat, they would serve their that term, and then rerun it.
So to really, I think when the elections a year and a half from now, they have to go through and apply for that, to be reelected, to fill the unexpired term.
Correct.
And the rest of the unexpired term, and then they'll have to go for reelection 2 years after that.
Right. So
If we appoint them, or vote
either
them,
way.
either way, we have to do that
So
process.
the conversation is, do we just want to appoint someone as a board, or do we want to open up to the community for applications, or do we want to do both?
I'd like to do both, we have somebody we like in the board, but we also probably need to open up the community to see if there's anybody out there that we don't know of that might want to volunteer. There might be some good person out there that we just don't know of that has experience or what the knowledge we need to put on the board and have them volunteer for it, so.
I agree. We have 180 days to do this, so if we follow that process, and we need to set a deadline when the applications have to be in by, so that way we can review them. And then we also want to nominate, we can nominate some people, put their names in the board, and then we'll have a full of that with this level. Is that okay, everybody? So this,
We won't pick somebody to fill that spot instead of having.
correct. I mean, my personal opinion is we don't need to expend taxpayer funds for an election. Everybody agree?
Yeah.
Agree.
So this is January, if we open it up for applications and get it posted in the newspaper, she resigned the first week of December, so we got January, February, March, April. You want to open it up for 30 days?
That's good. Get over fast.
Yeah.
I feel-
We need to post in the paper, have a deadline for 30 days, and then bring it back to the board for discussion.
Anytime anybody knows of anybody up here, so they can tell them.
Contact Ms. Cook or contact us. Does anybody have any topics for future meetings? If there are no topics, I'll move on to agenda item number 11, to convene an executive session as authorized by the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code 551.001, concerning any and all purposes permitted by the Act. .071, attorney consultation regarding legal issues related to establishing a school guardian program. .074, deliberate the possible appointment of public officers or employees to the school guardian program. .076 and .089, to deliberate the deployment or specific occasions for implementation of security personnel, critical infrastructure, or security devices. And section .074, discussion of personnel. Time is now 8:11, and we'll convene an executive session. The time is now 10:09, and the board is reconvened in open session to act on any items requiring action from our closed session. Do I have a motion to approve the amended terms of the superintendent's contract as discussed in executive session to take effective January 14, 2020? A motion by Mr. Stansbury, do I have a second? Second by Mr. Rector. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Do I have a motion to authorize the board president to take the steps necessary and needed to execute the amended contract changes? A motion by Mr. Stansbury, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Mullinax. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And on behalf of the board, congratulations. And we've extended your contract for another year, so thank you for your hard work. And we look forward to great things. At this time, it's 10:10, and this meeting